Joining me today is Charlene Lovett, who's running for mayor in the city of Claremont. Charlene, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So tell me, why are you running? Just a little bit about sort of your history in Claremont.
My history in Claremont? Well, I grew up in Claremont, graduated from Stevens High School, and then I joined the military, served 22 years in military intelligence. Then after I retired, I worked in a company in the DC area. It was a small startup company. I worked in business development. We grew it to a multi-million-dollar business, and it was sold to a bigger company. After that, my husband and I decided to raise my daughter in a smaller environment than the DC area. So we moved back home where I was raised to raise her.
Huh.
So since I've been back, I've been very involved in the community. I've served on the school board, I've been a state rep, I'm currently serving on the council, but aside from governing bodies, I've also been very active with different components within the community. I'm chair of the board of trustees at the hospital, chair of the advisory council at the community college, and I'm on the board at the Opera House.
So why the mayor's race?
Well, I've learned a lot over the years. I've worked with a lot of different people, and I think that the skills that I bring to the table would help move the community forward. And as a retiree, I don't have to split my time between a job and serving the community. So I'm a big believer in when you sign up for anything, you have to give it 110%. And whenever you do anything in government, it requires a lot of research before you can make good policy, which is the job of the council.
And so, and I understand the mayor's really not the day-to-day manager of the city.
No.
Claremont has a weak mayor rather than a strong mayor.
Exactly.
It's sort of like a council member or the chair of the council.
Right. It's much like what I do as chair of the hospital board. You're there to set policy. You're there to look at the budget and craft a budget that meets the needs of the organization. It's very important that when you have an employee, such as the city manager, that you do a good job of evaluating progress, communicating clearly what your goals and objectives are, checking in. It's critical to have good communication between those two entities because ultimately the council provides oversight. And ultimately, we are responsible. We've got, I think, a couple of minutes till the next segment, and I want to get into some of the issues. What do you think the biggest challenges that we really ought to explore in looking at Claremont that it's facing over the next couple of years? Well, there's no doubt when you talk to anybody in the community, the number one issue that always comes up is the tax rate. And granted, a lot of the issue is wrapped around the whole state's position of how to gain revenue from residents within the state of New Hampshire. But be that as it may, we still have to study the issue. Why are our tax rates continuing to rise? We had a huge drop in our valuation as a city. We lost over $97 million. That jumped the tax rate up considerably, about $4 overnight. And so I believe that we really need to do the work to study the issue, find out why are we on this cycle of rising tax rates, falling valuations, and create a strategic plan as to how to reverse that trend. It's not going to be done in 2 years. It's taken quite a few years to get here, but we have to do something because people need relief. But other than that, the number 2 and 3 items, and when I talk to people, is economic development and the infrastructure. And it's critical that we broaden our tax base, and that requires, for me, developing regional partnerships, leveraging the assets that are unique to this community, and so that we can elevate our prominence in the region and work with the people in the community to move forward. As you know, I think I was on the show with you last. I was talking about what has been going down at the Amtrak station in Claremont, and we recently dedicated a waiting pavilion down there, and all of that came to be because people and businesses in the community stepped up and donated their time and material to make it a more attractive stop on the Vermonter line. So that's just one example of
working together, bringing people together to complete an objective, and building partnerships in the region and leveraging the unique assets we have here in Claremont, because we're the only one that has a stop on the western side of the state.
That's right.
So,
and speaking of stopping, I got to stop right now.
Yes.
But
Okay.
we're going to continue our conversation and focus on other issues that face Claremont in the next segment. So please stay with us.